What's up, brother?
What's going on, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. You caught me in the sunshine here. I'm trying to make some coffee.
Well, we finally got you on here, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the gear over the past year.
Yeah, man. You're
Don't have any of it on. Actually, I was searching for some stuff, and so I guess it's on the laundry right now because I wear that shit constantly.
yeah. No, we've seen a few.
But I do have my.
Nice.
If any of them are watching,
we had we seen a few pictures of you on stage rocking the gear, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I really dig it, dude. I really do. I've worn out pretty much every hat you sent me.
Yeah.
The camo one I wore out during turkey season and deer season. Got rained on and sun and wind and all that stuff. So
need to get you a new order coming.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this set where on my little hook where it stands up better. So there we go.
Nice. So what have you been doing lately since since shows and everything have been kind of shut down?
I'm a coffee drinker, so we've had one full band show the past 3 months. You know, sporadic acoustic gigs.
Yeah.
And we're actually rehearsing tomorrow. We're going to Texas next Saturday for a pretty good event with Cannon Recovery Group for Mission 22 about soldier suicide.
Yeah.
But man, I've just been writing, and I've recorded 2 new songs. They're coming out shortly. They're in the mastered process right now.
Nice.
And spending a lot of time in Nashville writing. I got some stuff going on down there, so I was just writing with some really cool people that I've got blessed enough to work with. Most of them's got either cuts or a couple of them have, a couple dozen hits, and I can't really say what's up right now with that, but COVID's been good to me. So, but man, I turkey hunted a lot. I just actually on my birthday this past Sunday, I fished a little creek that runs by my farm in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And man, I caught 30 largemouth. We call them red eye or rock bass.
Yeah.
Week before that, I went smallmouth fishing on the Greenbrier River.
Yeah.
And I had an okay day, and it seemed like I hit days between everybody was talking about the day before. Everybody was nailing them smallmouth on the Sutton Lake up there and the New River and the Greenbrier River. But we had one day didn't catch absolutely nothing. I mean, a few brim. I got tired of fishing for bass, so I just started throwing in beetle spins and rooster tails, and just caught a handful of brim. And then the next day I caught, maybe a dozen smallmouth, and maybe 2 of them were good.
Yeah.
Trout season in West Virginia, I haven't got to trout fish in God knows how long. I usually fly fish.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how to fly rod now. That's how busy I am. And
That's how it goes, man. I know the feeling, man. You got kids and everything too, so I mean it's.
I do, man. But turkey season was a blast.
Yeah.
The bucks are looking good on the farm this year. I land in West Virginia, and man, we've got 5 or 6 nice shooters running around. So it's been on that, nothing else, riding 4-wheelers, and sure as hell ain't nothing else to do. I mean,
so for those who don't know you, you're out of West Virginia originally. You're in North.
Originally, we're in North Carolina now. The band's based out of North Carolina, and we I shoot back and forth between Nashville. I'm not a big fan of Nashville.
Yeah.
Or the way they put out music down there.
Yeah.
But tides seem to be shifting for the
better. A
better.
little bit, right?
Yeah, for the better. I think I think more people now are seeing that, you know, there's room for everybody. You don't have to fit a mold anymore. And because I've been fighting that since I've been playing music. I don't fit a mold, or I don't sound like what everybody else sounds like, or that's why I'm excited to go to Texas. I've got a lot of fans in Texas. A lot of my streams and downloads and everything come from down that way. But, you know, a lot of the Red Dirt acts come up this way, man. I've opened up for Parker McCollum, Randy Rogers. So I've always been more involved with that kind of music than I have what's coming out of Nashville. And I'm not putting out Nashville at all. It's just not my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's my brand of country music for sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see the shift, you know, and you look at even some of the more mainstream acts that are shifting more towards that. I call just kind of a more authentic sound.
They'll be weeded out. You can tell the ones that are true to it and the ones that are faking it and the ones that have fake country accents. And if you were on The Voice 5-6 years ago and you had no accent whatsoever, and now you have an accent when you sing, I can see through you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You don't develop an accent.
Yeah.
I'm not naming names. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are who you are.
Yep.
And I know The Voice doesn't try to take away your accent.
Yep.
So, you know, that's one of my running jokes. And like I said, I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just making a wisecrack. But, yeah,
you know
I mean, Cody Johnson just signed one of the biggest deals with Warner Brothers.
Who's that?
Cody Johnson.
Cody Johnson did.
Yeah, he just signed a huge deal with Warner Brothers. And, you know, people like Luke Combs and Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson, and all these people are opening up the doors for, you know, I don't know the definition for country music. I know my definition of it.
Sure.
It doesn't have hip hop beats and sound like New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
You know. I think, you know, I guess 90, you know, it's weird, man, because in the 90s, you know, everybody's putting on a hat, and, you know, Nashville trends. Whatever's, you know, you can tell the difference between somebody who just wants to be famous and somebody who wants to be an artist.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been guilty of somebody who wants to be famous. I just kind of always stuck to my own thing. And I try to evolve, you know, in writing and try to make different sounds. You know, I don't necessarily, you know, I've got 2 songs coming out now. One's pretty 90s country with a modern day, you know, it's a little modern, but with a 90s sound. And then the other one is just straight ass, country ass, honky tonk.
Yeah.
It's an ode to Waylon song. So
nice.
I'm excited to put both of them out.
Well, I'm excited to hear them. I know with around the shop here, we've been listening to the shit out of your latest EP.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Y'all sharing my stuff and everything too. And it's I need to come out there and fish with y'all.
Oh man, we got you set up. Don't worry, man.
Yeah.
We'll check you out.
When's the key time to I mean, when do they run out there? You know,
well, like it's pretty much damn year round. You know, that's the great thing about the Pacific Northwest is, you know, there are peak times, of course. You know, we're coming up peak summer steelhead season, then you got winter steelhead. So you really want the experience. You come out during the winter, and what would you?
Well, I wanted to, you know, they're stingy out there with their elk tags too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they have a like a general elk tag? They don't have like a general, like Colorado or Montana will just have a general tag for a certain location.
It's not the same, but I will tell you that our turkey hunting is pretty fantastic out here.
Is it really?
Yeah. And especially if you get up like Eastern Washington way. There's a lot of apple orchards and stuff up there, and they just feast on those old apples and get all.
The farthest I've been is Northern California, and I thought that was absolutely beautiful out that way.
Oh yeah.
But I never got up to Oregon or Washington that way. My dad rides Harleys, and he's been all up and down. He's rode to Alaska, I think, twice. coast to coast, so he's seen all. And I've been wanting to come out there. I was supposed to do a general elk tag hunt in September in Colorado, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get to go because all this COVID hit, and which I still might be able to, but had it planned and it got cut. Now, like, start replanning. Got August. It starts in like September.
Yeah.
So a month and a half to get ready, and so I think I'm just going to hold off till next year and just buy a couple tags for like Ohio for whitetail, and I hunt Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and I live in North Carolina, so I hunt here. So I think I'm just going to buy an Ohio tag. I got some friends and stuff that got some big bucks running around. Ohio's got massive whitetail, so.
Oh man, and Ohio and Pennsylvania steelhead fishing, the Great Lakes tributaries that come out there. Yeah. Those guys, you ever want to do that? We got plenty of folks that I can set you up with.
I've never been, and I'm like just now getting to the point where the music's doing good for me enough where I can actually, I've worked a regular job in 5 years.
Yeah.
But in order to make enough living, you're playing so much, and weekends, everybody plans weekend trips or this. Well, my weekends are my work days, and like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my off days.
Yeah.
And, and then usually it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, just picking up stuff here and there. So but this is all, it's opened up a lot of opportunity for me to get back in the outdoors, because I had stopped bow hunting. Mm-hmm. And that's my favorite thing. I love bow hunt and turkey hunt. I don't know if you've seen pictures. I killed a 6-bearded turkey this year on my farm. And they were hard hunted this year too, man. They did not cooperate. It was the first year in 3 years that I didn't tag out 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were hard. I didn't kill my first bird till 4 days in.
How do they eat over there?
What's that?
How do they eat over there?
I mean, there's plenty.
Yeah.
They were just, what? I think and I could be mistaken, man. I'm no Remy Warren or anything like that, but I do have a lot of experience turkey hunting, and there's just not enough people to hunt fall season, and we were just overloaded with hens, and there were tons of gobblers, but it was like they were all henned up and getting them off of them. It was really just every time they would gobble in the morning, they'd fly off and shut up.
Yeah.
And then I would run and gun them, and I spooked a few birds just being being patient. There's a fine line between patience and impatience, just getting up too early, being a little too aggressive. And then I finally killed one with about a 10-inch beard on the 4th day. And that particular 6-beard turkey I killed, I think 6 days into season. Mm-hmm. And I'd watched him. I didn't know he had 6 beards. I mean, some of them were small, but I knew he was different. Yeah. I remember just took out my rangefinder and had a little pair of binoculars. I'm going to order me a pair of Vortex because my binoculars suck. They're Bushnell, but they suck. Yeah. I knew he was different. He was really golden, like really golden looking. Yeah. More than the others. They all got pretty colors and stuff, but he was just had so much gold on him. Yeah. And I just knew I wanted that bird. And I literally sat up on him 2 days in a row, killed that one, and then I saw him. I saw him prior to killing the first one. And 2 days in a row, he hit a field. Well, I waited for him to fly down. He never flew down. Went up after him. He never would come around the ridge. Second day I sat, and he had a distinctive gobble. It sounded a lot raspier than the other ones, and that's how I wasn't for sure, like I said, I don't have, I could be mistaken, but to me, he sounded different. And I heard him a couple times, and I seen him gobble a couple times, and he just had this raspiness to his voice. Well, the way I was sitting, he wasn't, I guess he came off the hill down in this place we call Cabin Creek, and it's just like terrain changes, a creek that runs down through it, but it's wider between the hills. It's almost like a little valley. I'm not how you would say we say a slough. Yep. It narrows up, opens up the wider field, and then goes around. It's just up a holler. Yep. I heard him coming, and then so I shut up. Didn't want to spook him out, and I thought he was done. He was coming, and he just went quiet. I waited 20 minutes. I didn't call. Forced myself to wait another 10 minutes. Didn't call. So 30 minutes sitting there, and it's 11 o'clock. I've been sitting there since before dark.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to move on because every time I moved on him, he just outsmarted me.
Yeah.
I don't, if he gets up on a ridge above you, foliage wasn't. I mean, it was budding out, but it wasn't good. You can still have pretty good vision down from the hills and stuff like that until the foliage comes on. In the fall, when the leaves are all down, you can see. I mean, the hillside, you can. So they got good vision. So
they're smart.
Yeah, I mean they just got good vision. They catch movement and everything like that. So I literally leaned forward and peeked down he was about 80 yards and closing in. He had two hens trailing him.
Yeah.
And I was just literally leaning forward to get up and caught him moving before he caught me moving. And literally just leaned back. He walked out, shot him almost 40 yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I run down, I knew he was a good chance of him being a double bearded one.
Yeah.
Because I thought, like I said, I had shitty binoculars and a rangefinder, a little, I can't remember what brand I got, and then when I ran down, he was so wet, I knew he had 3 beards, and I started drying him out, hung him in front of the big, big shop fan.
Yeah.
And, let him dry out, and I started going through it. It's like, this guy's got 6 beards. So I'm getting him mounted. It's like $900 to get him mounted.
Oh, shit.
I never thought I'd mount a turkey, but
yeah, that's a special bird.
Yeah, everybody's like, man, you better mount that bird. And I was like, well, next year I'll probably kill 8 bearded, and it'll be wasting my money, 'cause I don't think
just because.
Just because. That's my luck.
So growing up in West Virginia and being in the outdoors, I'm sure as a kid, obviously, hunting, fishing, that type of stuff. Who kind of got you into that, into being in the outdoors? Was it a family member or?
Yeah, my dad hunted. My dad was a big time bow hunter, and he's actually been out west once or twice. He's killed an antelope. He actually he never missed much with a bow, but he actually missed a big mule deer because it was like he was his first big whitetail. It was like the mule deer came in and he got buck fever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he hit a branch or whatever, but he still tells the story. But my uncle killed a nice elk out there, and my uncle Bub got him into hunting. They tell a story about like there wasn't a lot of whitetails like throughout. He was born in 55, but he said growing up there, if you saw a deer, that's a big thing. Like they just weren't that.
Really?
I mean, yeah. And my grandmother said the same thing. But us growing up, it was just deer everywhere. But we started rabbit hunting, grouse hunting. Grouse have kind of died off in my area, but we used to have a lot of grouse. And of course, rabbits and squirrels. I still eat rabbit. That's my favorite meal. I try to keep as much wild game in the freezer as I possibly can. I killed 5 deer this year. 3 does. No, excuse me. I killed 4 deer. I killed 3 does and 1 buck. I killed an 8-point Pennsylvania. He wasn't a monster buck. It was 4 days into a 5-day hunt, and I can't eat a tag. So, paying for a trip. Pennsylvania's weird. They don't just issue you doe tags. You have to apply for a doe tag. They got a different management system up there because usually, you have more does than you do bucks. So I'll take a mature doe out quick because they're good eating. And shot him. He was already wounded, and I know that he was chasing the whole time. He was full on rut. I got him stopped about 42 yards and put 1 double lung through him. And he was a little buck at 8. But they're big deer up there, big whitetails. North Carolina, they're kind of small.
Yeah.
Down here. But I killed a doe down here, 2 does in West Virginia, and then that buck. So I put a lot in the freezer. And then, I rifle hunted the first day of rifle season on public land. And by rule, you're supposed to hunt you're not allowed to do anything in West Virginia for 3 days. It's all rifle.
Yeah.
But I went private land the next day, and the way I don't know if it's backshore or not, but I just bow hunted. But there was nobody else on about 200 acres. It was just me, so I didn't figure it's going to hurt anybody. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy rifle hunting as much. I just don't get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
I've killed so many with a rifle. It's almost like harvesting when you're rifle hunting. It's just, I don't know. It's like I don't like blinds.
Yeah.
I tried running and gunning with a bow this year for turkey. I've killed turkey with a bow before out of hunting blinds and don't enjoy that as much. So my goal is to run and gun with my bow.
Yeah.
And it's possible, but it's hard as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is. It'd almost be easier with a recurve.
Yeah.
If you can get them close enough. But I actually was I drew back on one, and I set up stuff where I can do it. I try to get where I'm back in some brush, and they have to funnel in front of me because there's I try to. You can set up so much, you can't always do that. But anyway, I drew back. The hen walked out this way. He was gobbling directly behind me. The hen walked out this way. So when she was walking, she was pretty much going away from me. So I didn't think there was a big chance of her seeing me. So I drew back, literally held. And I was like, well, where the hell is he at? And literally looked 3 yards in front of me. He's staring right at me. I'm like, can't move. And then by that time, I have to let my bow down. Yeah. But he did a little putt, went right back behind me, started gobbling again. And I sat there for another 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, well, I blew my shot. And when I stood up, he was literally coming back around where the hen was. And so if I'd have waited 15 minutes, he might have popped one out because I don't think it scared him too bad. But yeah, it was just my luck. I still have but yeah, smallmouth, of course, catfishing. We did a ton. Kanawha River and Ohio River. My family farm is in Mason County, West Virginia, which is in the lower foothill mountains. It's not the the steep high stuff like up in to the southern part of the state, like Pipestem or Pendleton County up that way.
I'm familiar. I used to do a lot of work out there. My old job.
Yeah, like I hate to do it. West Virginia's like that.
Yeah.
This part's more of your real mountain stuff, and this is your lower foothills, Ohio River Valley.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're towards that. I mean, still some steep hills, still some cliffs, still some, but not as high as elevation. And so your creeks will puddle. My cousin makes. I've never been into it. I've caught just a couple. Never really fished for muskie.
Yeah.
The Elk River, the river I grew up on, because the farm is where my grandparents, my dad was born. And then we lived up above Charleston, a place called Elkview, and the Elk River, and that's just extremely good muskie fishing.
Those guys go out and hunt big old huge flies that look like a dead cat.
Yeah, I don't know many people that. Yeah, I don't know many people that that fly fishing for them up there. But most of them use. Actually, my cousin Bo has his own bait company called Bozuka Baits.
Uh-huh.
And man, he sells a ton of them, and it's just for musky fishing.
Yeah.
I think he makes some bass, some rapalas, stuff like that. But I think he caught a 51-inch the other day.
Damn.
It's a patient game, man. Like I said, I've caught them when I'm fishing smallies.
Yeah. On
break baits.
Yeah.
And they hit, little ones, and they're fun. But I just so muskie, you've caught walleye. We have walleye. There's 2 or 3 types of brim. Your sunfish, your bluegill, and what we call rock bass, where we're from, and they're almost like little camouflage panfish, or the red eyes. I can't remember their names. And then you got saugers and drum.
Yeah.
You got what else? I mean, that's about it. So trout, rainbow.
Yeah.
They do some stock release. I think some rivers up there, Pendleton County. There's some creeks and reservoirs. It's catch and release.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with, but I mean, I don't feel like catching something for fun. You're supposed to eat them.
Yeah.
Trout's to eat. Like I catch a walleye, I'm eating that damn thing. The catfish, I'm eating that damn thing.
So,
Are steelhead great eating? Are they great eating fish?
some of them depends. You know, anything will smoke, right? But
yeah,
it's some of the hatchery fish that you get into, because we do have a lot of hatchery fish over here, and some
that's
rivers.
what I was trying to think of, hatchery. That's what I was trying to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of the hatchery fish, some of the rivers have more hatchery fish than others. They've got different programs now, broodstock programs, where they're breeding from the wild spring fish in the river, and that whole thing can be a little contentious. But there's the hatchery fish. For the most part, I'm not a huge fan of steelhead. I much rather eat salmon, or even just kokanee. Little.
Was it considered a trout or a salmon, or is it considered its own?
Steelhead?
Is it considered a trout or a salmon? Like I've always been confused of what they are. They're
Steelhead's just a rainbow trout that goes out to the ocean and comes back.
That's what I thought. But I was arguing that fact the other day, and they're like, "No, it's a salmon." I was like, "No, it's a trout."
No, it is a trout. It is a trout. Yeah. Steelhead, and regulations will say, I think it's 20. I'm gonna get hammered for this, but I think it's 22 inches. Any trout over 22 inches is considered a steelhead. But there's, and I know I'm gonna get a shitload of flack for saying that if that's wrong. But there's,
everybody knows everything, don't you?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different fisheries and a lot of different strains. You've got like in the Michigan area, they got Skamania fish over there that are a strain of hatchery fish from the Pacific Northwest, from the Washington area. Yeah. And but they're a completely different beast over there. Steelhead in the Great Lakes tributaries from
Well, see, there's trout here, like lake trout.
Oh yeah,
and it's brackish water. I've caught those. A lot of people know more about this brackish saltwater. To me, it's hard to fish. It's different.
Yeah.
But I have found like trout here and the trout from streams of West Virginia taste exactly the same. They're both good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really. They're like try this, and we caught a bunch of them. When I was working in Aurora, North Carolina, my boss man took me out on a boat. We caught a bunch of trout and flayed them up, and I was like, "He's what do you think?" I was like, "It tastes exactly." To me, it tastes like a trout. It tastes exactly like a trout. It's a really, really good fish.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite one is either walleye or trout.
Yeah. Well,
and I grew up. My dad bought me a fly rod when I was real young, and I fished the creeks where I particularly lived in West Virginia. That there was no trout.
Yeah.
You had to go up to the mountains, which we would go. Burgood, head of the Elk River, any rivers up Pendleton County. I can't remember the name of all the rivers, but there were some hatcheries, and then a lot of it was just rainbows and browns that were natural to the area.
Yep.
And then I got pretty decent at fly fishing them. I never tied my own flies or anything like that, but I got practice in the streams around where I live for the panfish, the bass. I've even caught catfish on a fly rod. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It was just landed in the right place, right where you're swimming. It wasn't like I was trying. It just happened. And that was a lot of growing up. We just fished for whatever bit the line until we got into the bass fishing or smallmouth fishing and what to use for that. A lot of times when we was trout fishing, you just take salmon eggs on a Zepco 33, cast them out, and just let them drift.
Yeah.
And you catch a trout.
Yeah.
Garlic, whatever flavor they had at the mom and pop bake store, those little cans of salmon eggs, and that was what we flip them out, let them drift down, and they would nail them.
It's a different vibe, coast to coast, because over here in the Pacific Northwest, like salmon and steelhead fishing, it's a part of who these people are.
And it's I have a buddy that owns. He's huge into bass fishing, and that's a culture in itself.
Yep.
And I love doing it. And trout fishing in West Virginia, it's a culture in itself.
Yep.
You got guys that are pro catch and release. You got guys that want to just use barbless hooks.
Yep.
You got all these different.
There's lots of levels, man. Lots of levels.
Because I was actually listening to Meat Eater podcast, and they were talking about
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest and some of the problems. They were like shutting down some rivers.
Yep.
And some groups were trying to get them just to use barbless hooks and catch and release, and some groups were fighting that. And I think it's important that everybody just realize that we're the anglers, and I believe in eating and catching what I do both. I can't say one against the other. I do both. I catch and release bass or whatever. But if I'm on them that day and I know I'm gonna have a stringer full and it's worth me keeping up with, then I'm gonna eat them. You know, it depends on the, like smallmouth, largemouth, if I'm catching the right size, because I find like a certain size largemouth don't taste as good as the ones 11, 12 inches. Those are the best ones to me. Yeah. And if they're hitting like crazy, then just frying up brim left and right. Split them, gut them, scale them, throw them on some, fry them out. And then trout, we'd always just aluminum foil, lemon.
Oh yeah.
And just peel the skin. And that, man, it was so good.
Oh, dude, setting a trout and some aluminum foil with some lemon and a little onion, salt and pepper next to a campfire.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yeah, we always called that a hobo meal. We used to do deer burger and stuff like that. We'd make them at deer burger, onions, whatever you're into, and then you set it on a campfire. Cook a hobo meal is what we call it.
Okay.
But
so when you're touring and you predominantly stick within kind of the south and northeast, we'll call it, right? When you're touring, do you ever try to work in any kind of activity?
I do when it's just me. It's hard when I got the other four with me.
Sure.
But when it's just me, I'll do acoustic runs. Like I got my fishing license in Virginia, Ohio, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and I was about to buy one when I was in Nashville last week because I was staying out near Percy Priest Dam.
Yeah.
But I had no time to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually, most of the time it's more efficient to go. Some they're more expensive, but most of the time, if I know I'm going to be in that state, because a lot of rivers I fish, the New River runs through Virginia, West Virginia, same. So I got both licenses. It's $35 a year for out of state, something like that. Yeah, and it's like $20 for a 5-day fishing license. So what I'm gonna buy a year long. Yeah. The Ohio River's got some certain rules. I haven't fished it. I didn't buy my Ohio license this year because I didn't go over there much. But Kentucky's got good bass. If we ever get, there's a lot of my buddies just like to go to Kentucky, hit the rivers. They got ponds down there, and just, I don't know, Kentucky's got some pretty good bass. Yeah. And PA, I've been trout fishing in Pennsylvania a couple times. Matter of fact, for the first time I ever saw an elk, I was fly fishing for trout in Pennsylvania. First time I ever seen an elk in the wild. I had no clue Pennsylvania had an elk at the time. This has been years ago. It was like 2006. Yeah. And literally had no clue they had an elk program. Like, you know what I mean? And now
I don't know anything about that side.
Yeah. I had no clue. So I'm walking this little, the creek we're fishing comes around this like little cliff area. So I walk up around in the woods, get down to this sandy black sand beach, fish back up in, where there's some eddies for these trout. And I keep hearing something. I'm like, what the hell is that noise? Yeah. And it sounded like a horse walking. And I was like, what the hell? And about that time, he just comes out beside me and bugles. Yeah. And I literally throw my pole. When you don't know there's something there and you've never heard an elk bugle in the wild and you see something the size of a horse screaming, but I mean, he's literally 10 yards from me and fell to the bugle. And I was I was like, and, he still had a yellow tag in his ear. And I was like, yeah, but they got like 30,000 elk now.
Oh wow!
I think they have 30,000 head now. 30,000 the herd. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I've got buddies that live up there, but they've got a ton of elk in PA. Kentucky's even opened their season. I'm not sure how many tags they're giving out, and it goes up into West Virginia. Like Logan, you can go to Logan County and see some elk, but there's no season there yet. But you can lotto. Like I put in for PA, Kentucky. I'm gonna start trying to do that yearly. Maybe get lucky. But there's been some like record elk taken out of both states because because
of the management.
The management, and there's just not. They reintroduced. I couldn't tell you what years they did it, but when I was in PA, I had no clue they had elk, and that happened when I was trout fishing. I mean, the dude I was with was laughing so hard. He's like, "You didn't know there's elk up here?" I was like, "No, I had no clue, and I've never heard them. I don't care if you know they bugle or whatever. It's the most impressive sound you could ever hear in your life is a bull elk. He just ripped it, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell was that?"
Slash frightening if you don't know.
Oh
what
yeah,
happening.
I've been in the woods all my life, and I've heard fox shriel and squeal and scream and bobcat scream, and I don't care how old you are or how long you've been in the woods. When you're walking in the dark and it goes off, it scares the shit out of you. You're not ready for it. It sounds like some woman scream.
Yeah.
I've literally been walking with a rifle to my stand, and a fox just let out a yell, and I walk. It's like, just fox, but take your rifle off just in case. It's a Bigfoot or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. The woods are creepy.
I've been stalked by a big cat on the Wilson. I didn't see it, but you could tell what it was. It was the evening time. I'm walking on the Wilson River, and there's a road that runs on the other side, and I'm fly fishing by myself, and you get that feeling that something's watching you, and it's a kind of remote. There's not a lot of houses around here. And on the opposite side of the river, and it's a little river. I mean, a big cat could jump across that river, no problem. Yeah. And in the summertime at this spot, and you could just see the eyeballs, the light from the cars, the headlights. It's scary and shit.
I had to get my phone plugged in here. I was about to die.
No problem. Yeah, you can see the.
I don't know how.
See the flash of the height as the headlights from the road hit his eyeballs. You could just see them, and you could see it sneak through the trees just enough because it was dusk. And I wasn't carrying at the time. As Oregon's an open carry, so if you're fishing, you can just open carry. And all I had was a little 5-weight fiberglass fly rod that was between me and whatever the hell that was.
North Carolina, eastern North Carolina, where I live, we have some of the biggest black bears. And I think next to Alaska, Eva Shockey took, I don't want to misquote, it was damn near 700 pounds. Yeah. I'm almost positive the record is over 8.
Wow.
For eastern North Carolina black bear. For anybody listening, you can Google it, and I'm almost positive. I think Eva Shockey took a 670. I could be. It might have been something, but yeah, they're massive black bears here, and you would not think so. There's no hills. It's nothing but long pine forest.
Yeah.
Barely ever any hardwoods around here. A lot of Weyerhaeuser land they own, but I've gone in, set up a tree stand in the swamp, and seen good deer sign, and go in there the next morning, and there's black bear prints, size of, just massive black bear prints.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, especially I wear scent lock, trying to, you got to do something in the heat early season. I love early season, both seasons, mainly because they've not changed their patterns yet, but they're starting to. So you're going to sweat. So I think, a lot of people say scent lock's bullshit, but I disagree. I think it's great. It's been proven. Activated carbon's used in mop suits and chemical suits and everything like that. It stops your body odor. And even if it does it just a little bit, it's better than absolutely nothing.
Yeah, right.
But I can tell you one thing. I've used it, and I've seen more fox and bobcats, but mostly fox and coyotes, than I've ever seen in my entire life. I killed a red fox last year with a bow.
Because they can't smell you.
I just think it helps block your scent that much. I mean, I could just, you just had to, proof's in the pudding. I mean, I've had deer within 2 yards of me, downwind, you know, not catch. And like I said, I don't paint my face. I cover my beard up because that's the number one flag right there is your body hair.
Sure.
You know, I don't think it stops 100% of it, but it fools them enough. You know, enough where I've seen more creatures in the woods wearing it. So I get nervous when I'm going in for bear, not for bear, but going in, you know, because their main thing is smelling you. So like I always kind of make sure if I'm going in the morning, that's downed.
Yep.
You know, and you don't want to make a bunch of racket. You don't want to use a bunch of light. You know, trying to get back in because I tried to set up for it. I set up in the swamp last year on a buck's. I know he was bedded. You know what I mean? And he had rubs, pine trees that big around, and I was going in there. I've seen bear tracks in there. When I put the stand up, seen fresh bear tracks. He or she must have been in there right where I was, or in there where I was. And I've seen them. When I first encounter with a black bear was, I came home from Iraq in 2005, and where I was staying, there was a huge ass cornfield behind the house, and I decided to go for a run on the path around it, and saw about 50, 60 yards, two cubs run in front of across the path, because there's corn on this side and corn on this side, or woods on this side and corn on this, I'm sorry. And I was like, just please don't be behind me, you know, you're fucked, man.
Oh yeah.
There's just, and it was my first ever seeing like a black bear encounter, seeing them in fields, you know what I mean? And like I said, in West Virginia, there's black bear there now. People are seeing more black bear in the county that I'm in, but growing up, there's none. But now they're starting. County overs are.
Yeah, black bear will mess you up quick.
Yeah, and so she came out at least 35, 45 yards from me, and looked and was not happy.
Because you said the cubs had passed.
The cubs were past her. Yeah. And you know, like I remember, like just freezing in fear. I don't care who you are. If you've never seen a black bear, you're not going, oh, wow, black. It's not a deer. It's like this massive thing can kill me.
Yeah.
And she, you know, started doing the whole lick thing. And she did the whole, like, woof, and like swatted and did. And I just slowly back, hey, get now, go.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got outside from her, I hauled ass, you know, like she couldn't sit. But I was like, my God, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Because, I mean, the cubs, you know, were there. Oh. They're just protective as shit.
Yeah.
And the second closest I've been was probably about 10 yards to one. And I was in my kayak bass fishing. I backed up to the lily pads. There's a place called the Devil's Gut. Mm-hmm. And it's off the Roanoke River. And it's just where these creek, swampy areas meet. And it's good fishing. We have fish down here called blackfish, but it's a bowfin. Yeah. It's almost like a snake. I'm sure. I think they're everywhere. Yeah. A lot of people don't know what they commonly mistake for snakehead, but it's not bowfin. Yeah. That's the funnest damn fish you could ever catch.
Yeah, they're not up here. We don't think we have them up here.
No, they're not. Yeah. But they're. I mean, they're full teeth. Yeah. They're weird looking, but they are mean as shit. They fight like no other fish I've ever caught in my entire life. Yeah. I mean, you can't eat them. They look like a trout bred with a carp and a catfish. Yeah. And they just got this long.
Aren't you supposed to kill them now?
Bowfin?
No, snakeheads.
Snakeheads you are, I'm told. Yeah. But I haven't caught one of those yet. We don't have any around here that I know of. They're southern. Yeah. But they're made. So I've been there, you know, just slaying bass and catching them bowfin, and we call them blackfish here. Yeah. And man, I'm like, heard little crackles, and I'm like, looked around, and I looked this way, and I was like, I don't see nothing. And I had forgot my anchor, so I backed up in because the wind was kind of blowing downstream, and I backed up in there on my kayak, and let her hurt it again. So I had to basically turn all the way around, and it's just standing there looking at me, and it's a big ass black bear. Yeah. And I'm in knee deep water. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But at that point, I wasn't scared because, you know, the body language is like, they were looking at me like, because from what I know in science, they can't see very good. They smell. Yeah. You know, course, she's, you know, the wind's blowing this way, so I'm not really blowing any smell back to her.
Yeah.
It was just, you could tell that animal was like, what in the hell is that?
Yeah.
It was just so curious. Like, I mean, like, I've seen people before, but never like half a body floating on water. You know what I mean? It was just the most curious look.
Yeah.
Like a dog. It was like, just,
Yeah.
it wasn't threatening. So, I mean, literally, I didn't even get scared. I just kind of moseyed my paddle around, and I turned back, got in front of the kayak, turned, reached down, laid my pistol in my lap, and I was like, hey, hey. And it was just still just kind of steady, just like, what the hell is that? Like, can I eat it or what, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I just took my paddle and just banged it like that, and my God, the noise it made running off.
Oh man,
like,
I shit my pants. But you said it's a pretty good sized bear, and the minute you said that, I just thought to myself, isn't any bear a pretty good sized bear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, in the mountains of West
when you
Virginia,
run into them in the woods.
yeah. Oh well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
They always gain about 100 more pounds, probably.
Yeah. When you're not hunting bear and you run into one accidentally, it's a big ass bear, no matter how big that bear is.
Yeah, and like I said, I've literally only run into, and never in the woods. I've seen bear hunting, like Pennsylvania. I saw a nice black bear, and I actually got down and went at, you know, like went. It was getting dark, but you know what I mean. I had bear tag, and I was like, you know, you spot stalking. He was walking this big oak flat, and I never could weave enough close to it. Just kept going. But I was like, everybody's like, you're dumb. I was like, people spot and stalk black bear all the time. It can be done. If you want to get one, why not? You know.
Yeah.
But I did get nervous on that one because it got dark, and I remember had to walk back to the truck and left my pistol in the truck, so all I had was my bow. But I mean, they literally will run their ass off from you. Like, you make a slight bit of noise, they just, but you can see them, the county over from here, like Washington County and Hyde County, they're just massive black, but it's nothing but crop fields out that way. It's toward the coast.
When I went up to Alaska, you know, obviously you're bear spray and all that stuff, but they tell you if you got something that a decent sized handgun that you can strap to the front of you, do it. So I had a 357, which when I got to Alaska, the guide in the lodge goes, what are you gonna do with that thing? And I'm like, it's all I got. And he's like, well, you got 5 for the bear and the last one's for you. You might as well just get it over with, put that first one because you ain't gonna do anything to that bear. Well,
the 357 puts a big old hole in something though. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a 40 cal now, but like I've taken 9. I think it's the ammo. Like I'll have, if I go hunting, I always load. I have my 9mm pistol, and I just put hollow points in it because, I mean, it might not kill at first shot.
You unload.
You just keep pumping lead in. You know, but the chance, like I said, if it starts coming up the tree, they come up fast. But if you know, it's something. And, you know, nothing's going to want to get hit and stung or, you know, holes blown through it, you know, and I hear them stories. You know, there's a guy in Alaska that killed a large black bear with a pocket knife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a true damn story. It was like, you know, 6-inch blade pocket knife.
Yeah.
He hit it, you know, so something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go out swinging.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine not carrying something in and not having. Yeah. Like if I'm fishing, I take a pistol. Yeah. I'm hunting, I take a pistol everywhere. I mean, it's especially nowadays. Like But I mean, I don't care if you got a 25. Loud noise or something. You know, something. I'm not going in blind. You know, I'd say a big old grizzly or a big old Kodiak or something like that. You know, you might want to have some heavy artillery for, but I mean, I'm scared to death of bears. Not scared enough not to go, you know. Sure. Yeah. Everybody's like, you know, your chances of bear attacks are so and so. I said, yeah, but your chances of being bit by a shark are about the same. Yeah. But surfers have a better chance of getting bit by a shark than anybody else, and bow hunters have a better chance of getting attacked by a bear than anybody. You know. If you're in the woods where they're at, you have a better chance of it happening. So you know, just try to be smart about it, and you know. It's amazing how nervous you stay. I don't care how much you get used to something.
Yeah.
It makes you damn nervous to go in there. You know? And I think it's probably a good thing. You don't want to be.
It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, do they have grizzlies? Are there grizzlies or just black bear up there?
Where we're at here in Oregon, mostly black bear. There was grizzly bear 100 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've talked about reintroducing to the area, but and there's and I don't want to sit here and act like I'm an ecologist and know all the different types of bears and wolves and shit that we have around, because I don't. But to my knowledge, there isn't any. But there's been some talk about, and I don't know. I mean, that's a whole debate, between.
So what states beside you? It's Idaho, right?
Yeah, we got Idaho and Washington.
Yeah.
And
wasn't there grizzlies in Idaho?
Yeah.
How the hell are they not? Well, see, that's what people say. There's no grizzlies in Colorado. Like, there's grizzlies in Montana.
Yeah, but there's so few that they stick to the area that they know and the food source that they know. So they're very few, and so they've talked like with wolves. They talked about reintroducing them, because regardless of what ranchers want to say and all that stuff, I mean, there is an ecosystem. There's a balance, right?
It's needed. I'm I know in Montana they're not letting people hunt grizzly bears. It's a big thing, and they're getting populated, and there's nothing that pisses me off more than people that are uneducated on the facts of hunters and anglers do for conservation. That it's astounding how we're made fun of from cartoons growing up with the Elmer Fudd's, and we're dumb rednecks. We don't care about nothing. We're throwing beer cans down, and there are assholes.
Oh yeah.
But if you just listen to any podcast known to man about hunting and fishing, and realize that there would be no conservation, there would be no animals, there would be without us, without hunting and fishing, anglers paying our tags, buying our tags, that and I donate to several things if I see it online. Public land, say public. I've donated probably a couple $100 this year. But the fact that people's like, we can't kill grizzly bears. Well, if you get too many grizzly bears are
they're gonna kill you.
Yeah, they're gonna. Well, yeah, people got this Yogi Bear thing, or people are like, how could you hook a fish in the mouth? I'm like, I don't know what to say to those people.
I think Steve Renil is probably from my perspective, he's probably the most intelligent voice on that subject. I think so.
It really is. And I've always hated the hunting shows. Like, I hate, nothing against Willie Robertson and those guys. I think those people are great people as well. They do a lot for, but that kind of hunting on managed game lands when bucks aren't getting shot at until they're 5 years old. That's not the same kind of hunting I grew up with, even though we had private land, the farms around, they're hunters, and everybody, shooting at deer just to kill a buck, don't matter what size it is, killing a nice 8-point outside its ears, might be 130, 140 inch buck.
Yeah.
If you can kill one of those around where I'm from, that's a trophy because you've done something.
Yeah.
You either got really, really lucky or you've actually done something.
Yeah.
I follow guys like John Eberhart out of Michigan, 50 buck, public land bucks, just monster bucks. Guys like him. So I've never really liked the hunting shows like Buck Commander, and I'm not putting them down. I just
I understand.
When Meat Eater came out, and I always loved Duck Commander.
Yeah.
I always liked watching Phil and them guys, and I don't
the old VHS tapes of them guys down in Mexico and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I always loved. I'd watch Duck Commander. I'm not into duck hunting. I've only been one time. It just wasn't for me. I'd like to try it again with some different people. But I'm also not crazy about being around a lot of firearms with dudes I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Understandably.
yeah. So like when Meat Eater came out, it was like a breath of fresh air for hunting shows. You know what I mean? Like this guy just did a complete hunting show and didn't kill anything.
Yeah.
And I learned more than a guy, you know, than the whitetail. And I think the public sees those whitetail hunters with the cool face paint and, you know, hunting on stands, and, you know, it's all about just getting a big old buck. And I think those kind of shows can give the wrong perspective to people.
Yeah.
Like we don't care about animals. We just want to shoot a big horned animal, you know, or whatever like that. I care about eating them. You know what I mean? I care about meat from the door.
It's just like anything, you know, wild fish, farmed fish, an actual TV show about actual hunting, farmed hunting, right? Canned, overproduced shit music, actual real music. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
authenticity.
I have to watch where I step when I talk about music, because I'm in deep now, you know. You know, I wrote, actually this last week, I wrote a song with a guy that wrote songs for Dierks Bentley, a couple for George Strait, and he also wrote a few that are modern.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean?
Yep.
That I can't really sit there and go deep into detail, but like, when a couple of his songs that he wrote come on, I'm like, ugh. Not saying they're not good songs. It's like you said, how it's produced.
Yep.
We're going to make this guy in a cowboy hat sound like a boy band, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I have to be kind of careful about that, and he would probably sit there and tell you too, oh shit, but
you know,
just
that,
to be honest,
I'm glad you brought that up, because I do want to talk a little bit about music as well, because that's your jam, that's what you do.
So, well, I would tell people too, like, if somebody came up and told me I could make $45,000 a year and get to hunt and fish all the time, but I could never touch a guitar or sing again, I'd literally have to sleep on
Yeah.
it. I'm like, well, you know, I'd have to think about it. That's how much I love to be in the outdoors, and you know, like I said, man, wading the creek when I was a kid, catching snakes and crawdads, and we call them crawdads.
Yeah, that's what we call them.
Crayfish. Yes, southern part is crayfish.
Yeah,
you know, we always call them crawdaddies. Excellent largemouth, smallmouth bait, or any kind of fish bait.
Yep.
I mean, we also have these things called helgamites. I don't know that. And we used to get them under rocks, catch them, and it was like nothing could be biting. You put a live one of those on your hook and throw it in, you're catching something. Oh yeah. But shoot your question about music, man. I'll try my best to answer it.
So for obviously you've been playing music since, if I understand correctly, you've been playing music for a better part of your life. Really?
Yeah, my mother and her family were the musicians. My dad's family was not musically inclined so much. My mom played guitar, and her whole family. My childhood in West Virginia was your typical, a bunch of barefoot kids running around on my grandpa's rundown house in Clendenin, West Virginia. My great grandfather, and they would all sit on the porch. The cousins, my mom, her sisters, my grandma. My granddaddy played the banjo till he died at clawhammer. I remember he could play the banjo when he couldn't remember nobody's name.
Wow.
My mom's family played bluegrass, and the brothers and cousins and sisters all harmonized, and the kids run around barefoot in the yard. You know, picture your typical West Virginia stereotype, backwoods kind of thing.
Kind of Dolly Parton upbringing.
Yeah, I mean, basically so. And my dad was worked at DuPont, retired from DuPont. He's the one who got us into hunting and fishing, and Mom got us into music. And I'm the only, my brother and sister can carry a tune, but they never dove into music that much. I played drums at a young age, and I wanted to be a drummer. Loved metal, Pantera, Metallica. I loved every type of music, man. I'm not ashamed to say it. Boys to Men.
Yeah.
The harmonies, you know what I mean? And then once I heard, and give a shout out to him, he just passed away, Charlie Daniels Band. I was like 5 or 6 years old. There was a festival in Charleston, West Virginia called the Regatta. And he played that a few times when I was a kid. And I was on my dad's shoulders and watched him play and knew that I was like, besides being a, star NFL player or something like that, So
when you got back from Iraq, that's when you kind of really got serious about it, though, right?
Well, no, I was, when I went to Iraq, I joined the reserves. I mean, the whole thing was play. I'm big, man. I'm 6'2", about 245 pounds. I was a pretty decent football player. Wanted to play college ball. Didn't really go to a high school. I had a coach worth of shit. And, not a program made to send people to college, so you're sending in game tapes and everything to colleges or whatever. And, didn't really get got looked at, but didn't really get the whole, high school football back then wasn't like it is now. There was no YouTube. You know what I mean? So, not a lot of people are going to come scout a shitty 1A team in nowhere, North Carolina, because I moved down to North Carolina. And the high school I left was like in the running for state every year. Had a great football program. And it just wasn't in North Carolina. So my whole goal was to get money to go play college ball, walk on at Marshall or walk on somewhere and play some college football. And join the reserves. And didn't know that you had to pay for college first before they reimburse you. So I had no money to even go to college. I ended up getting my degree when I was 30. But that was my whole goal. So I joined the reserves, and then towers got hit, and then, everything got switched around. Went to combat unit, 1st Cav Division, went searching for IEDs on the side of the road, then came back. But while I was in the reserves, I moved to North Carolina, got in a band, you shit and get out of a couple bands. And then I started out of the first band. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to argue with people. I'm just going to start my own band, do what I wanted. And again, I went against the grain with everybody. Everybody was doing, I'd go to bars and I'd watch bands play the same set list. Even if they're playing cover songs, play the same set list. And I was like, I ain't playing Give Me 3 Steps or Sweet Home Alabama, or, it's just been done. It's just been done to death. I was doing Robert Earl Keen and Steve Earle and some Charlie Daniels, a lot of Dwight Yoakam. And that was at a time before, that was at a time when country was really popped in too, around, 03, 04. It kind of got out of the hat acts and was going. I couldn't even name you anybody from back then because it was such shit music back then too. I mean, it was, and then you had people like Dierks Bentley, Montgomery Gentry come along later, like 05, 06, something like that, and kind of turn it back around on its legs. You need that stuff to remind you of how good country music is. You really do.
Agreed.
You need, even in the 70s, you had, the Barbara Mandrells and everybody doing the big orchestra, and that was poppy disco. They put disco beats. They've always done it. Record companies want to sell something. And if New Kids on the Block are selling, or Justin Timberlake selling, well, we got to make somebody look and sound a little bit Justin Timberlake and put some hip hop beats. But as long as we put a banjo rolling in there, it's gimmicky. It's to sell, and people buy onto it, But you need that to let you know how good Cody Johnson is, or how good Randy Rogers' band is, or how good Chris Stapleton is, or Luke Combs. You need that crappy music to realize when somebody like Luke Combs or Chris Stapleton comes around, like, holy shit, what is this?
Yeah. I was in a punk rock band for the better part of a decade, and it took Social Distortion to remind me how good country music could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was
Dwight
so
Yoakam
shitty at that time.
Dwight Yoakam sold it on me because even in his days, his writing was so poetic. Even his hits, weren't the same as what was selling. It was just, he was different. 1,000 Miles from Nowhere.
Yeah.
Guitar
60s vibe.
Yeah, he had the rockabilly vibe to it, but he extremely talented vocal, the way he yodeled stuff, the way he did stuff. I was sold on Dwight Yoakam, and for some reason it was always cool. Like if you were into metal or punk, it was cool to listen to that rockabilly shit.
Oh yeah, always.
And so
Buck
and
Owens.
then Buck Owens, and then Garth Brooks took over, and a lot of people followed suit with the hat acts and stuff. Like I said, it's trendy. It goes around in circles. I mean, you go down Nashville and it's a bunch of grown men that, drove into town from Nowhereville, Alabama, and now they're wearing skinny jeans. Not everybody, but you know what I mean? Now skinny jeans, or people that's never even rode crop tobacco or put up hay, or never wrote farm use on the side of their truck. Never,
Yeah.
It's like I said, I got news for people. I've never jacked up a truck.
Yeah.
I didn't see the point in it, and didn't have the money to do it to start with, and didn't really give a shit about jacked up trucks or any. We just try to keep something running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, like I say, it goes around in circles, and it's starting. With the guys down in Texas selling out stadiums and selling out concerts, and Nashville's taking notice. They noticed that, let's be honest. Any other time, Luke Combs, as far as his look, would have scared off.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with being a bigger guy or anything like that, but there's times where people say, "Oh, you're not good looking enough," or "You're not this and this," and he just broke through. And somebody like Stephen, who's been down there writing songs for years, broke through. You can't deny somebody that's good.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. You can't.
You just, and there's so much auto tune, and I speak out against that. I don't think it's fair whatsoever, and I don't give a shit who I step on or who gets offended by it. But like 90% of these concerts people are paying good money to go see, they're pushing play on a CD.
Yeah.
It's auto-tune with more backing tracks than anything.
Yep.
It's everything synced to the lights, and it's got to be this and this and that. I just wrote a song with Driver Williams, who's is Eric Church's guitar player.
Yeah.
Him and I wrote a song with another gentleman last week or so, and he's telling me, except for like in between songs, cue lighting things, whatever, Eric doesn't use tracks.
Yeah.
Doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
And a click track, like to keep on time.
Sure. Yeah.
That's just your metronome, and everybody uses those. But I've opened up for people. Like I said, I'm not going to say names. And if that's what you want to do, fine. I just think it's unfair.
Yeah.
When I've seen Charlie Daniels play, 12.5 times, at least.
Yeah.
Every show was different.
Yep.
Even the same songs. It was just live. It was just live. It's supposed to be live. I've seen people come out so auto-tuned, and with their bass and their hip-hop beats bumping, and their voice is so auto-tuned, you can just tell. I've had people, we'd open these shows, people come up and like, we can't hear him. I was like, he don't want to be heard because he can't sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true. He's pretty. let's put him up there. He can
Yeah.
carry a tune a little bit. We'll just fix it.
Yeah.
And we can sell.
Yeah.
And I think people are tired of it. Like I said, I might not never be nothing, but like, you come to my shows, you're going to get every mistake we make.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important.
You're supposed to.
Yeah. You're supposed
to make mistakes.
Yep.
Unless you're Rush or somebody like that, you're not perfect. You know what I mean?
People can see right through the bullshit, man. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're making T-shirts or you're singing songs. People can see right through the bullshit. And,
they can. Yeah.
And I've always believed that, and I think authenticity is so important no matter what you're doing. People always ask us, when are we going to do certain things that, as far as our business goes, and if it's not authentic and we can't stay in our lane, I'm not going to do it.
Well, I can tell like y'all love what you do.
Absolutely.
My buddy's got an outfitter, a fishing outfit. It's called FYAO, Fish Your Ass Off, that he started. And baits were in like Cabela's, and he sells a lot of shirts. But Jeff just bass fishes, man. That's what he loves. He's like all his buddies that we graduated with, they all play golf. He bass fishes. You know what I mean? Started sponsoring. It started off a joke, like they want to put money in to win this. There we go. They put money in to win this tournament or something. He was telling me a story. I grew up with Jeff. Jeff Rouse's name, and if you're into bass baits, check him out. I don't think he's competing with y'all, but it's Fish Your Ass Off Outfitters. He's like, and he loves bass fish. He loves smallmouth fishing.
Yeah.
And that's just, you can tell. And he's like, just rolled with it. You know what I mean? And it's doing pretty good for him, I think. So like, I try to like support, like, and I don't like a lot of flash, like simple statements. Like, I love the plain steelhead logo that I got, like 2 or 3 shirts. I got a sweatshirt. Yeah. Matter of fact, somebody stole one of my sweatshirts. My wife ordered one, and I got it.
Nice.
And I've got the grab bass or
Yep.
I still got that
back.
Yeah, I still got that original sweatshirt out there. For some reason, this COVID shrunk all my clothes.
You too?
Yeah. So I actually just hit the gym before I came home, man. First time in a while that I've hit the, but the COVID, it shrinks clothes. I'm not worried about getting sick. I'm worried about shrinking all my clothes. But like, and I can't say that. You'll see this, and it'll start swinging around like Alan Jackson said. It's gone country. It's gone country. Yeah. Anytime there's money in anything, which the whole record industry, not that I know anything about it, because I barely know how to load my songs to Spotify. You know what I mean? I just don't know nothing. I know how to play a few chords on guitar, and that's about it. But whatever's going to make them money, whatever they can see some money in. But you have some people in the music industry that are fed up from me talking to people here lately, that are kind of, the reason I got to go to Nashville and do some writing with some better writers, and they're tired of the lower standard of writing. Yeah. Put a fun beat behind it, make all the White Claw drinking white girls do the little white girl sweat at the beginning of the stage, and you know what I mean? Oh yeah. And that's fine, but there's still room for people with some, and I'm not the deepest writer. I have a few songs that they're Dylan-ish, that I put really thought into, my new song coming out, it's called Mama Didn't Listen. Yeah. And it's literally a honky-tonk song about me and my mom at my wedding danced to Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be a Cowboy. That was our son and mother dance. Yeah. And I jokingly said, well, you didn't listen to this song for shit. Because I drove old trucks, and she taught me how to play guitar and encouraged me to go play honky tonks and get out there and do my thing. So I wrote a song, but it's called Mama Didn't Listen to a Damn Thing Waylon Said. Yeah. And I literally didn't think it was any good, and I played it for my producer, and I took it in to the writing rooms and played it for some people, and they thought it was a good hook and a good song. So we recorded it. We're putting that out. And I just wrote it because I thought it was going to be a fun song to play live. It's that real fast beat honky tonk.
Sure. Yeah.
Way sound, that real, four on the floor sound.
Yeah.
And then I got another one coming out, so it's real easy going. It talks about fishing, and it just one of those easy moods I was in one evening, like I just, like I said, weekends go by, you're on the road, you don't get to, you see your buddies out, on the elk, or you see your buddies out fishing and catching a shit ton of fish, and you're stuck in a van with 5 dudes, smells like pot and feet in there,
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for those two to come out, but I'm picky about what I sing. I have had to play the covers, the popular stuff.
Yeah.
And, was miserable doing it, so I took a chance because we were such a good cover band at one point, because that's all I thought at that point was going to happen for me is me playing covers. I was going to keep writing, but I thought I was past my time. I just turned 41 years old.
Sure.
I don't look it, but I thought the time had passed me, and now these opportunities are popping out because people see, like, it doesn't matter. A 22-year-old guy can't write about life. He ain't lived it yet.
Good point.
He cannot.
Good point.
Because I know I can look back at me at 22 years old, and although I feel like I wrote some pretty good songs back then, in depth they weren't much.
Yeah.
I was probably a little bit more advanced than some people at 20.
Yeah.
I grew up a little different than people, but
sure.
I had a great childhood. We didn't grow up without. My dad worked his ass off and stuff like that, but we definitely weren't rolling in money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So had a little bit more experience and being around music all the time, hearing what it's supposed to sound like. I didn't accept crap, getting bands and people weren't playing right. Then if I'm the best musician in a band, we're screwed because I'm not a musician. But I got surround myself with a lot of the right people.
Yep.
And so if anything, the past couple of years have been right before COVID hit, man. Our concerts, our shows, we're at club levels. We were supposed to be on tour with a band called Love and Theft.
Yeah.
Again, not talented guys, not my cup of tea as far as, their harmonies are awesome though. I've seen them live. I've seen them live and they can sing. And,
yeah.
And then we had a couple shows with a group around here that's made it pretty big. Parmalee.
Mm-hmm.
They're from this area.
Yeah.
They're out in Nashville, which I can't remember their label, but we had a show or two with them. We had one with Lauren Lena. I had 3 shows scheduled in Texas, which we're going to Texas next week, but we ended up getting that last minute. But I had 3 acoustic shows in Texas to get down that way, all canceled.
Yep.
And we were just picking up so much momentum with the new song, In Came You, which my buddies wrote. I didn't even write that song. It's such a damn good song.
Yeah.
I wish I had wrote it. Some good friends of mine wrote it, and I was doing it at my shows, and people were just like, "When are you going to record it? When are you going to record it?" And I actually wasn't going to, so I called Todd Corey up, told him, asking me if I could record it. I said, "Yeah." And I'm glad I did, because that's just kind of getting us noticed, that song.
Yeah.
And I think With Me Now is the biggest one on Spotify, and then iTunes is Let Me Down.
Yeah.
Which, just a silly song that I wrote. But so, if anything, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's opened a lot of doors for, especially the hunting and fishing. I've got to do more hunting and fishing over the past couple of years because, like you said, playing music. Like I can go and book shows in the area that I'm going to hunt or whatever like that, even if it just be acoustic shows.
Yeah.
So, I'm not making millions of dollars or anything, but I'm, doing enough to pay for my bills and pay for my habits of hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bought a new bow. I shoot Matthews, and I tricked out my sights, and I spent a lot. I actually just ordered a saddle from Tethered. I don't know if you've ever seen that tree saddle. Yeah, you need to check that out. Yeah, I don't know if you do a lot of. Is there whitetail there? I know there. More blacktail, right?
Blacktail here, yeah, yeah. There's but I have a connection with some friends down in Texas that got West Texas that have a whitetail ranch, big 160,000 acre thing that I was supposed to go do, and I was planning on doing it this coming up here, and then COVID and all, we were putting the plan together, and the whole thing went to shit. But
let me know when you do, man. I'd love to get down. And I've had guys down there offer me some stuff, and hopefully this leads to me hunting down there too, because I want to go after the axis deer. And as long as it's like, you know, high fenced areas, a lot of people are. Again, I don't want to hunt an African deer on 10,000, you know.
Yeah.
But the axis deer, I know that's not a native deer, but if it's on 10,000 acres, you know what I mean? That's more than an animal's going to run and start with.
Oh yeah, these damn things are about as wild as you're going to get. And they, you know, when you get in there and you understand how they manage the population and how they take care of them, and there's people coming in and taking genetics and doing different things to keep different strains going in other places. I mean, it's not just a ranch, you know.
We can do that. You know, we can do that. If you see, you know, we had a strand of deer on our area of home that, like, every year there's always one they always sneak through. It's got 5 on this side, and he'll have little. You know, I've killed at least 3 like that.
Yeah.
And you try to get them out because it's not, you don't want to breed.
Sure.
Because it causes that, or they've been injured or whatever like that. So you try to get those out of there.
Yeah.
You know, they're good eating anyway. I've never killed a massive buck. My biggest buck's an 8-point, probably. I mean, I've had opportunities. I missed one. I'm almost positive it was like 12 to 14 points when I was in my early 1920s.
Yeah.
I've seen big deer. Just, you know, I've always felt like, it's like, when's it going to be my time to take, you know, 140, 150, 160 inch buck?
Yeah.
And it's just not happened yet. And, you know, but you know, it'll come. You know, and I'm hoping this year. The good thing about North Carolina, both seasons start September 7th. It's hot as shit. Mosquitoes everywhere.
Yeah. And
you'll still kill them in velvet.
Huh.
There's a nice 6 on this place right here. He's a big 6.
Yeah.
Was cool deer to take if you can get a big 6, because it's rare. And I've seen him twice. I caught him once on camera. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard if they don't get, like a couple years old and they're 6, they're not going to get any bigger. Like it's a rare kind of thing. If I can get him in velvet, that'd be awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I've got a place set up on his bedding area now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm more interested in that. And, you know, Ohio, big deer, as long as they're wild, I don't want a gimme buck like on this ranch. It's a, you know, 200-inch buck that's, you know, setting this blind. He's been at this feeder every night, you know, and I don't have no desire to do that. I don't have no desire to sit up over a feeder, you know, or, you know, the most we do is put some salt blocks out, and that's just keep the minerals when it's so hot in the summertime. Get them in them natural springs run down the hill. Give them something to get in there and you keep them healthy, whatever like that.
Yeah.
You know, we've got hay fields and tons of acorns, and so it's naturally just a deer haven anyway. Only problem is, you know, big buck you see on camera could go on the neighbor's farm and chase his does, and somebody just walked on that day in a pair of blue jeans and a blaze orange vest pops him. It happens all the damn time.
Happens all the time here too. Happens all the time here too.
You know, but it is what it is. I mean, but like I said, I let a decent 8-point go last year. My cousin let a 9 walk. I've seen them. Pretty sure they're the same deer.
Yeah.
One morning I was actually driving out to meet my buddy. I was going fishing on the Greenbrier, and there's 5 bucks standing in the field, and 4 of them's outside their ears.
Huh.
Nice. So paying off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there's as many people hunting. I think there's a lot more people letting little ones walk. You know what I mean? Because you're allowed, I think, 4 doe. In North Carolina, I think you get 6 doe tags.
Oh, wow.
So many deer, dude. There's so many deer. I mean, it's wide open corn crops, bean crops,
Yeah.
and a lot of cotton, tobacco. But
Man,
there's not,
yeah.
so, I mean, there's tons of food for them. Pine nuts. There's just, and they eat such a variety. There's whitetail in the desert. They eat whatever they can get in their mouth.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, let's get together. I want to come out there. I've never been to Oregon, so.
Well, come out here, play some shows. I can set you up. I know. I
actually have a buddy of mine that was in a band here, and he's from Oregon. I don't know how they ended up here. He was here for years. Got a band, incredible singer, great songwriter. He's a young guy, but he just moved back home. So it's like, he's been wanting me to come out and do some shows. I was like, man, I want to go out there and do some fishing anyway. So now hopefully when it's all said and clear, we can get something together. And maybe we can hook up in Texas too. I'm down to do one of the hunts. I think I'm going to go late August and try to do some hog hunting down in Georgia and public land. Yeah. I mean, dude, you don't even need a hunt license in most places for them.
Yeah. It's just nuisance.
Yeah. I mean, and it's free meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think just to kind of sharpen my hunting skills up for deer season, because I think this year's the year I'm gonna get my doozy. I say that every day.
Every day you wake up, today's the day. Today's the day. Well, we'll get you out here. We'll get you out here. We'll get you fishing. We can set that up, no problem at all.
And then I'll bring you out, do a turkey hunt on the farm this year, man.
Oh man,
we got a ton of them, dude.
Dude, I'd love it, and
and that's about the time. I think that's about the time the hatchery is released too, for trout up in the mountains. It's usually spring.
Nice.
And so we can knock both of them out. It'd be cool.
That'd be awesome, and drink a few beers and pick a song or two.
Yeah, sounds good, brother. Thank you.
All right, hey, all the best to you and your family. Thanks for taking the time today. I appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it, dude. Later.
See ya.